Hello peoples! In today's video we are using a Constellation Andromeda to run some VHRT missions. Just like in the Drake Corsair video, I have two different builds, one with an all-energy weapon build, the other one using ballistics, to see which one is best to use. Now taking a look at the Urkel build, you can see I have swapped out my default weapons for size 5 and size 4 laser cannons. I changed the missiles to use the electromagnetic versions. I also did a group of rattlers for testing that you'll see later in the video. Later on, we're going to swap out the laser cannons for a full set of ballistics, the Gatling version, so the AD-5B and the AD-4B. I also upgraded the shield to the FR-86, and I upgraded my quantum drive to the crossfield. You don't need to do these upgrades, I just had the extra equipment lying around. Now sit back, get yourself a drink, relax, have a snack, and let's see how we do. Now as usual, the link to these two different builds for Urkel will be in the video description below. Check them out if you want to use them in-game. In my first VHRT mission, I have a Saber, a Reclaimer, a Freelancer, and a Buccaneer as targets. Basically what you're going to see me do is use a combination of missiles and my energy cannons whenever I get the opportunity to do so to take these ships out. Now we still have that pesky little size 2 front shield bug that the NPC ships have. So in the case of the Freelancer here, all the shields went down except for the front one. That's going to be one of the drawbacks to using all energy weapons. Now obviously it's a bug and it will be fixed later on. So here I fired off some rattlers just to see how they're going to work. As you can see, there's a ton of missiles that go out there. They're actually missile warheads, but they don't all hit. So I'm kind of on the fence on whether or not they're a good missile to use right now. Maybe for PvP. But PvE, probably not so much. As you can see, I had no problem taking out the Buccaneer that came in a little too close. Now we're going to concentrate on the Freelancer MISC. Again, size 2 shield bug, but doesn't matter. It's a big enough target to where we can get around that shield and take it out without much of a problem. The next target is going to be a Saber. Basically, I'm going to use my missiles on this. He's pretty far out, and a Saber is fairly fragile, so it shouldn't take too much. I'm going to try to hook him up with the rattlers. As you can see, I'm getting a little bit of a delay here. Doesn't really want to give me a full lock, so we're going to switch over to our task force missiles. We get a good lock. These are size 1 missiles as well, and fire them off. Now the Saber is in a bad spot. Let's face it, it's very, very fragile. It doesn't have the maneuverability and is not a very good ship at the moment. Notice I said at the moment. I love the Saber. I have one in game, but they need to kind of beef this up a little bit, as well as all medium fighters, and that's just in my opinion. So now I'm going to lock them up again, try to use the rattlers just to see if we get some decent effects. I'm firing off 3, and you're going to see all those warheads just fly out there. Now, if you notice, I'd say about half are hitting, but the majority are missing. So 50-50 here. Again, not really convinced that rattlers are all that good. They do have the highest DPS according to Urkel, and I would think during a PvP match they would work to kind of confuse your opponent a little bit maybe. But in PvE, I just don't see them working as designed, to be honest. With the Saber dispatched, we are now going to concentrate on the Reclaimer. This isn't going to be too hard. The Connie has fairly decent shields. I am going to bump my forward shield up just a little bit so you can see that it's going up to 33, 34, 35%, because the Reclaimer will have that larger cannon on the turret that could do some damage. Right now I have all of my power going to shields, but once I engage the Reclaimer, we're obviously going to drop that down some. Now the Andromeda has pretty decent shields, and it has a pretty high hull HP, so it can definitely tank a lot better than something like the Drake Corsair, which is a little bit more fragile. So obviously the Drake Corsair gives up its tanking ability for having a higher DPS overall in the forward arc controlled by the pilot. But what you have with the Andromeda here is a pretty decent set of forward firing guns, you know, 2 size 5 and 2 size 4, although the size 4 are gimbaled. It seems to work out pretty well. And then of course you have an insane amount of missiles, something like 52 I think is what I counted up, with both sets of size 1 and size 2 missiles. So it is definitely a missile spamming gunboat, no doubt about it. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my maneuverability, get in below and behind the reclaimer, and in no time my laser cannons are able to take it out and destroy it. And yeah, that is a dead body of me from a previous engagement where I hit a planet because it just loomed up in front of me. Alright, on to the next mission. So in this VHRT mission, I got a pretty decent test for having ballistics. 3 reclaimers are going to be the targets here. So that's some tanky stuff. And I have an all Gatling ballistic build. Now, I am going to soften up the target a little bit with some of my missiles, simply because their combined hull HP for all 3 reclaimers is quite a bit, and I'm a little concerned that I may run out of ammo, particularly on the smaller AD4B Gatling guns, because they do have a reduced ammo count from the AD5B. I am going to go after my primary target just to make sure I have enough ammo to take that one out and get completion for the mission. And again, this is applicable to, you know, any of the bounty hunting missions that you're going to run, the VHRTs, the ERTs, all of those. Always go after your primary target when able, okay? So once we close in, because again it is ballistic ammunition, I don't have to worry about any shield invulnerabilities or anything like that. The reclaimer doesn't have that bug that the NPC hurricanes do, and that kind of stuff. So I'm just gonna let loose and see how fast and how much ammo it takes to take out a reclaimer here. So we all know, because we've probably faced these ships multiple times, these guys are a little bit of a bullet sponge. So I'm just going to keep working it. Because I am surrounded by 3 of them, I did not choose to increase the power level to any one particular shield facing, like the front. And as you can see here, we pretty much melted that reclaimer fairly quickly underneath the combined fire of all 4 Gatling ballistic guns. However, if you look, and it is kind of hard to see because I've got some kind of weird bug, it's been going on for quite a while, where the HUD is not all that clear. Sometimes it kind of phases out like it's out of focus. I did use almost 50% of my ammo in the smaller AD4B Gatlings. So that's a little bit of a concern because I still have 2 more targets. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fire off some missiles on the second reclaimer here. I'm just going with my size 1 missiles, the Strike Force ones. You have such a huge supply of them, you might as well just fling them out. There's no reason not to. Of course, I don't have to use missiles here. I've got more than enough firepower with the Gatlings to take these ships out. But again, we're testing. I want to make sure these missiles work, so I fire off a couple different volleys and all that good stuff. Now, one of the added benefits for running an all ballistic build is that I can run all of my capacitor energy to 100% shields. That's going to give me, I believe it's a 20% increase to the damage potential of the shield. Correct me in the comment section if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure if you're running 100% shield power, you get that 20% extra. And if I did have an energy build, I'd have to split that up between the cannons, obviously, the laser cannons, and the shield. But in this case, 100% to the shield. Don't have to worry about it. If I wanted to maintain, pretty good maneuverability, I could probably split that between the shield and the engine capacitor just to make sure that I can do my boost. In this case, the reclaimers are so, slow and unwieldy that I really don't care about my maneuverability being boosted up, because the Constellation has more than enough maneuverability to circle and get behind the reclaimers when that opportunity presents itself. So here I'm just basically unloading all my missiles onto this second target, mostly because I want to empty out my ordnance, because I'm going to try some new missiles a little bit later on in a different test. And again, I want to make sure that I bring that reclaimer's HP down enough to where I'm going to be able to have enough ammo to take it out. So now this guy's come in close enough, we're going to engage him here. And I did notice that I got some kind of weird burst pattern going on with the 85B Gatling guns, the top ones. The 84Bs seem to be doing what a normal Gatling does, but if you can see here, the 5Bs are in some kind of weird burst pattern. And this continued onto the other target as well, the last target in this. I have no idea why this is going on. I think it's probably due to some type of weird server lag or something like that, but anyways, if you see it, it doesn't appear to really stop the DPS or anything, or affect the DPS in any way, manner, shape, or form, but it's just kind of a weird visual glitch, I think. As we see here, I did run out of ammo on my 84B, the size 4 Gatlings, but I have more than enough ammo in the size 5 Gatlings to be able to take out the last target. At least we're going to find out, right? So now what we're going to do is just close in. I'm out of missiles, so I can't rely upon those to take out the target. This is going to be an all or nothing thing. You can also see here in my HUD, see how it's kind of out of focus right here on the Gatling gun section. That's been around for a while. It's some kind of weird visual bug. So anyways, we get below and behind our target here so that large barreled turret up on top can't hit us, and we just go to work. And I'm just going to concentrate fire on the rear section. And as you can see, we got that weird burst pattern. It's kind of odd. But in any event, it's enough to take him out, and I have some ammo to spare. I'm not out yet. So it worked out pretty good. I would say between the two, I enjoyed the ballistic build better than the laser cannon build, but it depends on what you're doing for missions. If you're going after, single target missions like ERTs against the hammerhead, this might be a viable build for you. But if you need something with a little bit more longevity, like if you're doing group VHRT missions, you might want to stick with the cannons, because those ballistics do eat up their ammo fairly quick. So don't forget to do that thing with the like, subscribe, and notify button, as always. And let me know what you think. Do you like the Andromeda as a mission runner? Do you use it to run your ERTs, your VHRTs, your beacon missions, all that good stuff? And what build do you like to run with? Leave it in the comment section below. As always, till next time, take care.